Welcome to media, Stripling. Welcome to the media world. AJ, any entering words for Chicken Strip as he enters the media and leaves the baseball playing world?
Do not look at your Twitter. Do not look at your Instagram because people are going to say stupid stuff to you. Just ignore it because people are stupid. That's all I can really say. Because they're going to say, oh, you know, Ross, you pitched that one bad game back in 2017 that I still remember, and it cost me my fantasy league championship. Like, nah, nobody cares.
Well, for one, thank you for the welcome. AJ, your retirement must have been a little different because mine is mostly people saying nice things. So I'll have to go back and read those comments about you for a good laugh.
There is a difference, AJ. I don't think Ross ruffled feathers the same way that you did when you were playing.
No,
I think
Ross
that's a
is too
fair
nice.
statement. Yeah.
Ross is too nice. And I understand. Ross is nice. Listen, I get it. And I'm jealous of the fact that Ross could retire and nobody gave him any crap because, listen, I haven't retired yet, Ross, so I could still come back and make an appearance, and who knows, maybe.
Do it.
No. Hey, Ross could do the same. So anyway, all right, we'll do a few minutes. I want to do a few minutes with Ross here, and then we'll dive into news and everything else. But we'll actually have ChatBCC help us out with fan questions here. There you go. If you want to ask him right now live for the next few minutes, I'll give it a look, foulterritory.chat. Okay, Strip, let's start at the top. I'm going to start with my own question because I get to pick these questions. What went into the retirement decision for Ross Stripling at this very time? Was it difficult? What was the process like?
Yeah, sure. Of course it's difficult, right? That's, the massive chunk of my life that you're now, quote unquote, hanging up your cleats and moving on to what's next. It was a lot of things going on in that decision. I showed up to spring training with the Royals on a minor league deal, feeling good about where I was at and definitely thought I had a chance to make that team. And it ended up just kind of being more of the same of the last two seasons in spring training for me, which was like, I felt like I was throwing the ball really well and just had nothing to show for it. And I just think, now a few months past my playing career, you can look back and just kind of think, the game had kind of passed me by in a couple ways where my stuff was still the same, maybe even better when I was young and having success, yet it was leading to nothing successful on the field for me. So I just think, I couldn't put anybody away. I couldn't get strikeouts. And I think if you look at my last two seasons, I just had to be perfect to have success out on the field. And, that just caught up with me. And, I'm at peace with that for sure, and I feel good about where I'm at. I also had a kid on opening day, my third son, so it that made decision easier than going to Omaha or somewhere to try and pitch right now. So actually thankful for that. That was kind of able to like sever it right there and just say, okay, that's my career. Let's move on to dad life and whatever comes next.
Congrats, dad of three. So how does that work? What?
Most guys are like three. Most kids are like 3 or 4 kids. They keep playing until they're like 50. See Jamie Moyer. See like some of these people that just can't. I mean, I don't know if Rich Hill has kids, but he won't quit playing either. So Ross, I mean, drop down, throw big curveballs. That you can pitch till you're 100.
Yeah. The part of me thought I was going to do that, and it just wasn't in the cards. So here we are talking to you guys in the late June. So it changed in a hurry.
One follow up here from a stuff perspective. How do you know when you're not getting the results? Obviously, you're seeing the hitting results coming at you, but is there something that you can pinpoint? Because usually we're just looking at velocity numbers, but what else was it that you noticed where you're like, hey, this is just not clicking for me to get the outs that I'm used to getting?
Yeah, biggest thing I touched on was swing and miss, right? I really lost my ability to put someone away. So what you notice is really with any lineup, but let's say a good lineup, Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, etc., and you get to like the Shohei, Mookie, Freddie combo a second time through, and you're just like, I don't have anything to get these guys. I don't have anything to put them away with. So I would get to 2 strikes on really slightly above to really good hitters, and you could tell they were still getting their A swing off against me, right? They weren't going into any 2-strike adjustment. They weren't scared of anything that I was going to throw up there. They still felt like they could get their best swing off. And I think when you're still giving up a lot of hits and specifically a lot of damage with 2 strikes, that's when all right, it's not what it used to be here.
Okay. All right. So AJ, let's bring in a fan question or two. I'm going to see if we can get like an angrier.
Yeah. ChatBCC, October 11th, Florida at Texas A&M. Is Ross getting me tickets? Is he getting me those field passes? I mean, how are we going to work this out here, Ross? Like, I'll reciprocate in Gainesville, but October 11th, Florida whooped Johnny Manziel's butt. I mean, where are we at here?
Yes, we'll make that happen. 100% can guarantee it. If you make your way to College Station, Texas, I'll meet you up there, and we'll get you right down on the field next to those big boys, and we'll watch it in person.
AJ, let's put Ross on the hot seat for a couple more minutes here. So this is a softball question. It's a layup question, but then it's got some spice on the back end of it. So from Abe, hey Strip, what was the biggest difference between the Dodgers and the A's? And why does John Fisher have no feel as an owner?
Oh, gosh, man, I saw I saw May took some shots at John Fisher yesterday. Maybe I'll just let those rest in the ether and let him take on that one. The biggest difference between the Dodgers and the A's are really the obvious things that everyone knows, which is just the investment in the stuff even outside of players, right? Which is like in the analytics department, in the scouting department. Friedman has 9 other assistant GMs that have been GMs of other teams or are going to be GMs in the future that are, along his side when he makes decisions. Their strength training staff is amazing. Like, the investment that the Dodgers have done in like human capital is bar none as far as the other teams that I played for. And then their ability to relay information down to the players through all those people that I just talked about is also elite. So, one thing that I said, I think I might have even said it on the show, is like when I was really scuffling as an A and maybe had 3-4 bad outings in a row and I was like looking for answers, it was very much like, hey Strip, like we're seeing a lot of good things are going to turn around for you, versus the Dodgers were like, hey, let's get Andrew Friedman, 2 pitching coaches and one of our analysts in a room, and we're not going to leave this room until we put a plan together, and your next outing is going to be better, I guarantee it. And I just I think the proactiveness of the Dodgers, as well as like the wealth of information, their ability to relay it, is just that's the reason they're the juggernaut they are. Obviously they pay for the talent they have, but then their ability to develop and then get information to those talented players is just it's elite.
Boom, there you go. All right, I'll do 2 quick hitters for you, and then we'll touch on our Charge the Mound topic for a few minutes before we get to guests, which includes 2 of Strip's friends, Gavin Lux and Joe Kelly, coming up later. All right, here's Sean. Hardest hitter you ever faced?
Yeah, mine's I get this one all the time. It's an easy one to answer. It's Mike Trout, which I will take happily to say, arguably one of the best hitters of all time is is my kryptonite. But it is true. The facts are right there. You can go look him up. He's something like 9 for 14 with 3 homers and like a 2000 OPS against me or something. I don't think I debuted in 16. I don't think I got him out until 2019. And keep in mind, this is Dodgers Angels, so I play him like 6 times a year. So it's not like I'm only facing him every now and then. So yeah, he had my number. Talk about like not having something to get someone out. You can beat Trout up with velo. Like if you throw 95 plus, you can live up in the zone and you can get Trout out pretty consistently. I didn't have that in my arsenal, so I was throwing him soft down and away, which he likes to just pull about 450 feet into the stands. So that he is just a horrific matchup for me.
That's a fine name to include there. And then Joseph asks, favorite ballpark to pitch in? And obviously, I mean, I guess we could include Dodger Stadium, but favorite ballpark to pitch in?
Yeah, I mean the 2 ones that are stuck in time are always my favorite, Fenway and Wrigley. There's nothing like them. It feels like you're still playing baseball in like the 1930s, which I think is so cool. And then obviously they update, especially Wrigley updated as far as the amenities for players. So then it became an awesome place to go as a player, and then obviously awesome once you're on the field. Was able to pitch and play in both in the postseason. Which those places were rocking during that. So I think that's an easy answer, Wrigley and Fenway.
Boom, there you go. You're off the hot seat for now, but there could be more
Yeah.
later. We answer questions throughout the show every day. But let's get to some news. Let's charge the damn mound. Oh, but before that, obviously, foulterritory.chat. Chat with us, and we take questions every day for guests, the whole deal. If you have any questions, I'll check them out too for Joe Kelly and for Gavin Lux coming up later. Just reply to the same thing I threw out there for Strip in the host chat. Now let's charge.
Charging the mound.
All right, AJ, what do you got on the first team to 50 wins? Tarek Skubal and the Tigers dominating.
Oh, Skubal didn't dominate, by the way. He actually gave up 2 2-run homers. One to our guy, Brent Rooker. But and our other guy, Denzel Clark. So he gave up 2 homers, and after that, he settled in nicely. The Tigers are good, man. I don't know how you don't say they're the best team in the AL with their lineup. If you have this guy leading your rotation and Flaherty, Mize, some of the guys backing him, Olsen, whoever it is, and the way AJ Hinch can manage a bullpen, I think they're the best team in the American League, and they have a great shot to make the World Series.
They've got the best record in baseball right now, Strip. They're 9.5 games clear of first place in the AL Central. What do you think of the Tigers? And, when you watch Tarek Skubal, who, yes, I should say, the team dominated score-wise, but for him, it was actually a bad outing. What do you think of what you see there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to get into it later when we talk about 5 of our, current favorite starting pitchers. I think we're both going to have Skubal at the top of our list. I mean, he night in, night out when he takes the ball is going to do something special and as much watch TV as far as a starting pitcher goes. And then when you look at him, I just think they've done it the right way. They have drafted well. Torkelson and Mize and some of their big picks are coming into their own, as well as, just like a young core. And it's not like this is a team that's just going to be good this year. Like they look like they're starting a little era here where they could run their division here for a while. So I just think, if you look back at like the Astros who did it, when they started getting Correa and Altuve and Springer and those guys, like this kind of feels like it could be the start of a run like that in a winnable division with good young talent that they've built from within. I think the sky's the limit for these guys.
The thing I would be excited about if I'm a Tigers fan is the fact that they went for Alex Bregman, even though they didn't end up landing him. And I think they had the best overall guaranteed dollars offer, but Bregman went with the opt-out after year 1 here. It is showing you that the Tigers are not going to hold back at the trade deadline and then, of course, after the season. But if you're worried about 2025, they're not going to be concerned about taking on a big contract if need be, if it's going to help the team compete for a title in 2025. Do you think that the Tigers can slay a team like the Dodgers or even go down the line, Strip, in the National League to a lot of juggernauts, the Mets, the Phillies? You can make a case for the Padres. I would say the Cubs are entering that realm as well. Do you think the Tigers could win a World Series and slay one of those teams in the NL if they make it that far?
No, I disagree with AJ there. I think when you look at like what the Oklahoma City Thunder just did in the NBA, as far as 2 years ago, getting some playoff christening where they won a couple rounds and then you get beat out. Last year, that was kind of Detroit, right, where they were able to get into the postseason with an insane run in September and make some noise, beat the Astros, and so they were able to like kind of get their feet wet in the playoffs there, which I think is huge. And that experience is like you just have to have it to get to the next level. But I think when you're talking about meeting a team, let's say specifically the Dodgers in the World Series, who's been in how many 5 of the last 9 of those things, like that's a different level experience where I don't think they'd be able to get over that hump. I think it'd be huge for them to get that experience and go play a team like the Dodgers on a stage like that. But as far as winning it, I mean, no fault to the Tigers, but I'd take like the Dodgers in 5, maybe 4 if they were to meet in the World Series.
AJ, you know what that sounds like? That sounds like the Dodgers after they tore apart the Yankees in the World Series last year,
right.
doesn't it?
You can tell that Ross pitched for the Dodgers. Although I'm trying to find the stats against me. I think I was 1 for 1 off old Rossi Poo there with a RBI.
Wait.
He walked me, by the way, which was impossible to do. So I'm trying to look him up, but I'm having a hard time finding him here. But 2016, I know I got a hit and an RBI and a walk. So I'm sorry, Ross.
Yeah, we've done this before, AJ. I think this is now the 3rd time that you've said this to me.
Bring it up.
I don't blame
Not many
you.
people,
You talk to a
Ross,
lot
that I
of
can
people
do
every
this
day.
There's not many people I can do this against, but yes, he's right. Listen, the American League is weaker than the National League, and I honestly believe if there's one team in the American League that can do it, maybe 2. The Yankees, if Fried and Heel come back and they get it right, but I honestly believe the Tigers with Skubal, Flaherty gets to go in Mize, their bullpen and their offense is the one team that can really maybe do some damage against some of these National League powers.
Yeah, something to think about would be like the road to get there, right? Like if the Dodgers really have to go through like maybe a tough series with the Padres and then a really tough series against the Mets, and they're like kind of beat up going into the World Series versus, let's say, the Tigers just roll through whoever it is they get in the weak American League, like you say. Like that comes into play. If the Dodgers have had to play some 7-game series and the Tigers have been rolling people in 4 or 5 games, that energy and freshness that the Tigers would have, I think, would come into play. But I still think even in that case, I'm taking LA in a World Series this year.
Also, who was pitching for them at that time? We don't know that yet either. I mean, we got a lot of rehabbing going on.
Yeah, does it matter? Did it like who? What they did the whole thing last? Did they have a single starter go more than 5 innings in last year's postseason run? I think it's just yeah. But agreed. Eventually, those guys will come off the IL, and then there'll be too many guys to throw out there. So I'm not gonna hold that against them until we see it.
Fair. And actually, one of their bullpen members is going to join us coming up. So we're a few minutes away from Joe Kelly from the Dodgers joining us on FT. So we'll step aside and we'll get to that coming soon. FT fam, did you know that Huel has sold over 500 million meals around the world, and now it is your turn to try it while I drink it.
Drink up, Scott, so I can discuss Huel and how I love it. I had some for breakfast this morning. I like to drink it post-workout because of the protein included in it. It always tastes delicious, whether it's strawberry, banana, chocolate, vanilla, whatever the flavor is. It tastes like a dessert, honestly. It should not taste as good as it does.
I agree. New customers get 15% off plus a free gift at Huel.com when you use the FT code. That is FOUL, F-O-U-L, at Huel.com/FOUL. Don't miss out. Try Huel today for a perfectly balanced meal. If you miss a meal, if you're looking for a little protein boost, you just saw me drinking the Black Edition ready to drink. There's the vanilla flavor. I love what the chocolate brings to the table. It's really damn good. So give it a shot, FT fam. 15% off plus a free gift for new customers with the code FOUL. Hey, we're back, and we're kind of serving as a pregame show today because at 2 o'clock Eastern time, you're totally good, everyone watching, to watch
White
Paul
Sox and
Skenes
Diamondbacks play.
The Miz.
The White Sox and the Diamondbacks play, Scott.
Yeah, exactly, for AJ. But just leave us on in the background to listen to us, please. That would be great. Skenes against Misiorowski. That's the good stuff right there, AJ. And it's packed. It's either sold out or standing room only as of last night.
Did you see the tweets that the Brewers were sending out? There's no parking in the main lots. You have to park in adjacent lots. Good for baseball. And if you see my tweet, or X, whatever you call it, tweet X, whatever it's called, can we get a flex? Can we flex this game somehow to national TV? Because this is the game everyone should want to watch. 2 young stud starters that throw 100 and have both been dominant so far in their careers. This should be a game that should be put on TV somewhere, so everyone has easy access to it. Not having to go look for it, not have to find it, but this should be a game that everyone has easy access to see. You want to grow the game, Scott? Ross, you want to grow the game? Put this game on national television.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, do we even have that ability? Like, what does that exist in baseball?
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of what I'm saying, right? Like, this should be, I work for Fox, so obviously I'm biased, but like Fox, put it on Fox National on a Wednesday, and move this game to a primetime game, not a 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock local game. I know but it can't happen yet, but it should at some point.
I'm with you. Hey, we've got the World Series champ working his way back right now. Joe Kelly joining us for the first time on FT. And wow, what a day to have you here on the first time as Ross Stripling is hosting for the first time, entering the media world. Joe, great to have you on. Thanks for the time, man. What do you think of Strip in this seat?
I saw you, whatever it's called. What was I sitting in the green room? I saw you, AJ asked you a question, Strip, and you kind of dropped the ball on it, buddy. He said, "Isn't it good for baseball?" And then you just paused for like 5 seconds, dude. If you're gonna host a show, you got to be locked in, bro.
Wow.
Wow.
Joe,
Blowing
is
me
that
up right off the bat. I
Joe,
agree.
is that why
Thank
I
you,
was a
buddy.
better teammate? Is that why I was a better teammate
100%.
than Ross?
I was
Thank
a
you.
teammate with
Thank
AJ
you.
for like 48 hours, and I had no problems with him.
Thank you. Thank you. I saw Alan Craig the other day in San Diego, and I said, you have to admit I was the best teammate you ever had. He said, well, except for I got traded while you were on the trading table. I'm like, that's a good point. I was taking a nap. I was probably hungover in San Diego, and I took a nap because I wasn't going to play. And you and Joe Kelly got traded on the ticker while I was sitting on the trading table. It was pretty awesome.
I'll never forget that day, bro. Like, first of all, I know your fans know. Everyone knows AJ, right? Around the league, we knew AJ. Me and AJ are very similar. We just kind of say what we're thinking. But for St. Louis to trade for a guy like AJ probably didn't do as much research as they thought. They figured out when AJ got in the clubhouse, and Matheny was like, "Crap, dude, we can't have two of these guys on our team, especially one being a young guy." You know what I mean? So let's just keep the old guy here and get rid of the young guy who probably won't ever change his ways. Here we go. So Boston was a good.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out for you though. You won 3 World Series later on, so I think you made the right decision. You got the better of that trade by far.
Very true. All right. First off, Joe, and then I'll let these guys kind of take it away. But where are you at? So, how are you on rehabbing? Where are you at?
Oh, I was say I'm in the kitchen, bro. Got clean dishes up there. Uber Eats a burrito because my wife left with my baby. So now it's just me and my 9-year-old who's playing Fortnite upstairs. So I was like, screw it, I'm ordering Uber Eats. But I threw off the mound on Sunday. I got a bullpen tomorrow, and I got another bullpen Sunday. So it's coming good. It was one of those things where I didn't know if I would be able to throw a ball that well without surgery. And so far, it's been amazing. Strength is there, movement's there. Obviously, with the first one and the first couple ones, zero velocity. I mean, velocity is exactly where I thought it would be right now for the first time getting on the mound. Especially, it's not like I've been like grinding my butt off in the weight room either because I want to see how my arm feels. If my arm didn't feel good, it would have been like a waste of time to lift without having my arm feel good. So now the arm feels good. It's one of those things where I kind of find a balance of, how fast can I go? How quickly can I get, velocity back? Do I really need to push my body in the weight room at this point in time at my specific age, especially if I'm, only looking to play, a month, 2 months, and give it all I got for a month and 2 months and then let it go. But like I said, the throws have been great. No pain. Arm speed is there, which tells me that velocity will come back, in the near future.
Joe, I'm behind, man. What procedure did you have?
I went out of the country, did some Kobe stuff.
Oh, nice.
Hey, no. Hey, no.
But hey, come test me, MLB. You'll waste your money.
Hey, now be careful. Be careful because I played with a guy.
It's totally legal. Don't worry, guys.
Hey, I played with a guy once. I'm not gonna name his name. He disappeared one year, and he came back the next year and was throwing a lot harder. It was weird. I don't know. I don't
think my frame could throw any harder, dude. It would completely just rip off the arm.
Well, here's my question for you. You used to throw 100. So when you say your velocity is there, what is it, like 92? But you never threw 100. You always threw curveballs and changeups. Why didn't you ever want to throw 100? You're like, hey, Correa, watch this. I'm going to throw you 19 sliders in a row, and then you.
Because it's the best. It was the best rated pitch in the league. Wouldn't you want to show your Ferrari goes 212 miles an hour if you had it? You know what I mean? If you have the best rated off-speed pitch per numbers or analytics in the league, and your fastball is like a top 50, wouldn't you want to show the number one pitch? It's like you don't have a 12-pack and you're going to keep a shirt on, you know what I mean?
Every now and then, if I just have like 30 seconds to blow, I'll go look at the Joe Kelly versus Eric Hosmer 3 front hip sinkers at like 101.
Oh.
That's like one of the craziest 3-pitch sequences I've ever seen, Joe.
That was just a lucky at bat. I I had the wind. No, you know how like in San Diego sometimes the ball moves like 10 inches more than it's supposed to, because number one, you're lower to sea level, and number two, sometimes you get that crosswind. And I kind of knew it was coming, and I threw one just to see if it would work, and it worked. And I was like, screw it, I'm gonna shake every time to this. So that was a fun at bat. Obviously, it's impossible to make the ball move like that every time you take the mound, but when you're in the right place, it's kind of like Toronto, like when Stroman back in the day was front hipping lefties. It's kind of like that same kind of wind and that same kind of mound.
Joe, so you're definitely coming back, right? You haven't, unlike Chicken Strip, you have not retired. And if you come back, retired. Will you sign with the Dodgers? Because they play the Padres again in August. So you could front hip somebody, and then you could go, what was it? Who was it that charged you that time? And you're like, come on, let's go.
Oh, Tyler Austin.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because their rivalry is intense, right?
I've
been known to throw one at, close to people the last few times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I made it known, which is people would say it's bad for marketing, but I could give a crap. I come back healthy. I'm only playing for one team, and that's the Dodgers.
Boom, there you go. Okay.
Sorry, I got one. Speaking of that, Joe, like, looking back at our time in LA, and I got there a little bit before you, and I think I'm going to ask you to toot your own horn a little bit, but I always wondered why this was the case, which is you were just beloved in the locker room, as I'm sure you are everywhere. But we've had some guys come through that locker room that were maybe as crazy as you are, who were not as well received. And without naming too many names, maybe guys like Sergio Romo, Alex Verdugo, etc. Who have their own little things like you do. But like, how come you think we loved you so much versus some of those other guys aren't able to fit in despite being I don't know, on your own plan, as we like to say, on your own program?
I think it's just, I don't know. There's something in human beings where you could tell instantly if someone's full of crap, right, or if they're not. I think it's once you see me in person, I feel like you realize quickly that it's genuine, and that's just how he is, right? And you kind of have to put in the work with your teammates, and or if you're not putting in the work with your teammates, like you have to put in the work of going about your business the right way. And so people could watch that, right? So like, you can't just bark on people to, get in the weight room. If you don't get in the weight room and, act all big and tough and kind of show up late to stretch, or, don't run pulls with the other bullpen guys if they're running pulls that day. So I think there's like checks and balances within like a team, and you and AJ know well if who's going about it the right way, who's not skipping out on their treatments if they're sore. So like you can kind of see, like, does he follow all those steps? And it's something that I've done. And like you said, if you would think, and you kind of group me in a category with those other guys, right? But then when you peel back the curtain, you're like, oh, he's like that, but obviously he does everything else the right way. He's not skipping, this thing. He's not, going out late at night. He's not, I don't know. There's just a bunch of little different things that it's kind of hard to explain. Where it's an eyeball test to me, I think.
I like it. Listen, you were a great teammate for those 48 hours. Trust me. I want to know this though. You said something. You'd only sign with the Dodgers. So if the Padres, Athletics, White Sox came to you and said 1 year you get $5 million for the rest of the year, which one of those teams would you rather play for? Not shake your head. Which one would you rather play for? And by the way, everyone has a price. You have to pick one, and everyone has a price.
Shoot. Okay, White Sox, Padres. What was the third?
Athletics. And we'll throw the Rockies in too, just for fun.
Ooh, wow. Okay. White Sox, I've done. I'm out. That's easy.
No way.
San Diego is out, even though it's beautiful. Now it's A's or Rockies. Gosh dang.
Let's throw the Astros in there.
Astros.
Got a little history with the Astros. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, A's are out. I'm not playing in AAA Stadium. So it's Astros or it's Rockies. Wow, this is tough. Is it the same? Is everyone the same in Houston? Ownership, everything's take it all day.
Yes. As they're constructed today.
Rockies.
But how about this? You get to live at.
I can't believe the Astros made it so far on my list.
Yeah, right. But you get to live at Stripling's house. Does that change anything? Stripling said you can live in his guest house.
I did say that.
Yeah. If my family comes, I can't do that. But if my family doesn't, I'd live in his guest house.
Yeah.
Where you live at? Castle Rock? Where you live, Strip?
We're west of downtown. I'll say that.
Okay. I have a lot of family in Denver. Some live in Pueblo, Castle Rock.
Oh, I was talking Houston. No, I don't. I don't know anything. I don't have a place in Denver.
Oh, never mind.
You can stay in my guest house in Denver. When we find it.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm disappointed White Sox were off so early. I can't imagine why. I want to know this because I never got to.
Hey, do you have your number retired yet?
Me, I have not retired yet. No, I'm still officially.
No, your number retired.
Oh no. I mean, in high school, but not at the big league level. No, trust me.
No,
it's a source of contention. But I want to know this. I've never asked you this. So when you were in LA, and I want to know the honest story because I don't know, and I'm Wikipediaing you as we speak. Are you Mexican descent? Because you came out with all the mariachi stuff, and it's like, wait a minute, your name is Joe Kelly, and you have all this going on. So please explain.
Half Irish. There you go. My dad's Kelly. My mom's last name is Valencia. The best of both drinking worlds. So if you want a liver problem, you be born half Irish. Half
That's one of the few bobbleheads I've asked for, Joe. Gone back to the Dodgers and asked for is you in that mariachi outfit. I don't need the Ohtani ones. I need the Joe Kelly mariachi one. It is sick. I'm looking at it right now on Google. It's the best.
Hey, Joe, are you watching games? Are you following anything, or do you just totally isolate everything and work on yourself? You're following the league?
I'll follow the Dodger games when I can. My son, my 5-year-old, who's a fiend for baseball. Not the oldest. The oldest is lazy, could care less. He's just really good at playing. But my 5-year-old, he gets on my phone. He's like, it's 7:00. He's like, that's nighttime, and he'll turn it on himself. He's really good with numbers. He knows the standings. He'll walk up to random people in the store or a family member and be like, who do you think's better, the Cardinals or the Rockies or the Tigers? And someone will be like, the Rockies. He's like, nah, Rockies only have 19 wins, 18 wins. Nope, they're bad. They're bad. It's definitely the Tigers. It's definitely the Orioles. So if he asks me to put on a game, I'll put on a game. Other than that, we have practices. With 4 kids, you have gymnastics, from cheerleading to soccer to tackle football, my oldest, travel ball, all-star baseball. So it's pretty hectic, but it's fun.
Hey, Joe, what about the Yankees last year? You guys win, you guys celebrate, and then you guys have a party at Mookie's house, and then you guys just piled on the Yankees. Talk to me about just piling on a team that you guys were like, yeah, we knew we could beat them. I mean, it's the first time. Now, it's happened in other sports, but this is the first time I've seen in baseball where teams are like, they never could beat us. We knew it from the get-go. I
thought it was the same thing as the 2018 World Series when I was on the Red Sox. I said, they're batting Kike Hernandez 4th in the lineup. You kidding me? This is going to be...
Wait, you want to sign with the Dodgers? You can't say that if you want to sign with the Dodgers.
But I've told them to their faces. That's why they love me. I said, bro, you guys are batting Kike 4th and platooning guys in the World Series, bro. What? This is the best the National League had to offer. The Red Sox, it's just a whole different team. And then I said the same thing about the Yankees when I was on the Dodgers. I said, this is just a completely different mismatch of a team. And that's what happens. That's what happens in baseball. That's why there needs to be playoff re-ranking, because you need the 2 best teams like the Padres and the Dodgers to play in the World Series. Period. That's it. Figure it out. You know what I mean? There's no other way around it. You can't have, the 2 best teams match up in the first round in anything. And in playoff baseball, it happened to my son's all-star team. They played a team called Vineyard, who's them and Altaloma are the best 2 around for districts. They match up in the first game. Now they're about to match up in the championship game once they make it through the losers bracket. So I think it's just people's feelings get hurt, but I don't give a crap. It's truth. It was a complete mismatch.
Joe, my nephew's 9, man. So Knox is 9 now. Is he playing real baseball and
9.
stuff? That scene is wild.
Real
man. How
baseball.
are you handling it?
I don't know if you saw the other day. I got bopped in the forehead by a fan.
Wait, what?
If you have time to check it out. I already told the story. I take too much time. Look up my Baseball Isn't Boring podcast. I had to go to the sheriff's office after the game. It was about us winning. Literally, it's about us winning the USSSA World Series. We stopped the game. They said you guys can forfeit and take a win. I said no. Long story short, the manager on the other team, Stripling, came over and bopped me in the forehead. So I had a private arrest, waiting on a court date. But you have like 40 minutes to kill it. It's electric. You'll love it.
Wow.
My gosh. That's the most joking story I've ever heard.
But hey, our 9U team's a top 10 and our top 10 in perfect game, and top 10 in USSSA. There you go.
And a dude had the balls to go after you?
Dude is a suspect of a word, but yes, it had the balls to go after me while I was sitting on my bucket, by the way, on the field.
Wow. That is wild. I don't know how I can follow that up.
Yeah. That's why I quit coaching my son right there.
Well, you said top 10.
I was
top 10 9-year-olds. We're ranking 9-year-old baseball teams like it's college football.
Youth sports is a mess in general, dude. And then the week after, in the same Big League Dreams place, I could send you a text. But officers, rifles, same tournament, same World Series. You could hear it on I don't know, you guys know Game Changer, right? But I looked it up on Game Changer on the teams that happened to, and it's like he's got a gun. Like someone brought a gun to the game, dude, and in here in California, it's crazy, dude. And
wow.
It's the Chino Hills one where Snoop Dogg's from Chino Hills, the Ball brothers, Lonzo, they're all from Chino Hills. So it's the Chino Hills Big League Dreams. And you can see live video of guys with officers with AR-15s, and you could hear the other team saying the guy's got a gun. This is just wild.
Damn. Holy crap.
Cali's crazy.
Yeah. All right. I got one more for you. Going back to MLB for a moment, just want to get your take on, I think, the biggest drama in the sport this season. What was your reaction to Rafael Devers getting traded to actually a team that you might face if you're with the Dodgers later this season? You're going to have to deal with your boy. And you played with him, right? In 18.
Yeah. I loved Rafi, dude. I loved him. And I've heard that, he was loved in Boston, right? Obviously, he ruffles some feathers with the front office, and then that carried over with the fan base in Boston. And then he gets to the Giants, right, and says he'll play anywhere. But I could see both sides of the story. I could see, Rafi's side for him kind of trying to stick it to, the front office, which then kind of sucks, right? Because then now if you're a team guy, you're kind of sticking it to your teammates. And they're like, well, what the heck, bro? We had a guy get hurt, and we needed you to step in, and you told us no. So I don't know what conversations were had there, but I could see that side of him, right? I would want to stick it to the man, obviously, but I'd also want to help my teammates out. So if there was a middle ground or a middle balance to way that he could have done it, I think would have saved face, right? Fans would have loved him, teammates would have still loved him, and he probably wouldn't have been traded. But then I could see the other side of being a manager, let's just say AC, right? I'm sure AC's kind of fuming where, he probably just seen him develop throughout his career, because AC had him. His first year was his rookie year was AC's first year. So he probably, if you asked AC in 2018 if he thought Rafael Devers would be able to, say that, or if he wouldn't be a Red Sox for life, or if he'd be the Giants, 2018 core, he'd probably, laugh at you and say, hell no, he'll be a Red Sox forever. But yeah, the whole situation, how it went down was kind of, you're either on pro-anti, or you're either pro-Devers or anti-Devers. But yeah, to get to the Giants, as a ex-Dodger and maybe be a Dodger again, you hate to see it, because Rafi's a great ball player. He's a great hitter, and the Giants are actually going for it. So it's interesting to see. They took I don't know how much of the money was eaten by the Red Sox, but it's a good move for the Giants. He's a pure baseball hitter, and he gets a second chance. And Giants fans are very similar to Red Sox fans, and Strip knows they'll take in Devers with open arms, and there's always going to be someone, to pick up another player from an organization, who was beloved. We kind of did it the other way with what was his name, Pablo Sandoval, but it was Giants to Red Sox. So I hope nothing but the best for Rafi because he's one of my favorite teammates. As a rookie, young kid, 19, 20 years old, he was one of the first guys into the Yankee Red Sox brawl with me and Tyler. He was one of the first guys in. So I will always have a lot of respect for him.
Hey, Joe, you went to Corona High School, right?
Crown Town, baby, yes.
Okay, because I have a question for you. So my son, his team finished like 7th or 8th, depending on what poll you look on, in the national high school rankings. But Corona was the best high school baseball team ever. They sucked. They didn't even win their section. Seth Hernandez, the Ebo Boys, all these guys, right? What the heck happened in Corona? I don't care what you say. They're not the best high school team ever. They weren't even win. They couldn't even beat, what was it? John Bosco? Like, come on. Like, save your Corona love. Get out of here.
What was your guys' 7th or 8th school? What name is that?
First Academy in Orlando.
There you go. Corona High School is a public high school with 95% Hispanics. We don't pay for kids to go to the school.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
It's baseball too, by the way. If it was football or basketball, that if you had the best and most talented team, you would never lose. But they got caught off guard by a soft throwing poo-handed lefty, and they only struck out. I think once that game in a 6-inning game, and just got no hits. But
it's weird. Happens. It's weird to get no hit, but you're the best team of all time.
Hey, and they're public.
Oh,
and it's a low poverty school.
Yeah, it's just weird how all those players just ended up at the same high school without recruiting, public high school. Sure, it's strange how that worked out. Okay.
You know how it happens? This is how it happens. Corona High is the only public school with an aviation program. So if you want to be a pilot, you could come from any school you want and play at Corona High. And a lot of those kids want to be pilots. So there you go. Take that.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Dino's evil kids both were like, we're going to be pilots. Yep. Seth Hernandez is like, yeah, look at me. I'm going to be a pilot. Yeah, right.
What do you do with all that money, AJ? You got to buy a plane. Woo!
If they don't fly it, they ride in it. That's the whole point.
Well, don't worry, Joe. First Academy's clubhouse is nicer than half the clubhouses in Major League Baseball. So besides that, they're really struggling. They're just trying to get to that number 1 spot. But dude, this was great. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to wish Strip luck with his media on the way out here,
so wait,
go for it.
I don't understand what's going on. Is Strip actually part of you guys now?
He's hosting. He's guest hosting. This is his first. He's been on the show many times as a guest, but he's guest hosting today. I mean, he's fresh off the field, so he's just giving a little shot. It's a spot start.
Strip, let me know when you get your own show, bud.
All right, yeah. You and me, we'll run it back like that episode where we made the bottom line of SportsCenter one time.
Let's go.
Like 2020. Yeah, that was wild.
We'll do that Corona High with our planes.
There you go. Joe, good to see you, man.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you.
Yeah. All right, boys.
All right. Thank you.
Joe.
Kratz, real talk. I do not carry cash around me, but what I do carry around on my phone is Cash App.
Easy peasy. Like I said before, anytime Scott can pay for the tab, that is good. And it's always right there. Fast, easy, always available.
Yeah. Oh, my credit card's not working, or oh, I didn't bring cash with me. There's no more alligator arms. Do you have your phone? Most people have their phone. So use Cash App. It's secure and safe. There's no waiting around. It is a super, super easy sign-up process. You can sign up quicker than you can listen to Kratz and I talk about Cash App. For a limited time only for the FT fam, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code TERRITORY in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Here we are for 2 minutes. Strip, give us the call. Cal Raleigh or Aaron Judge for MVP right now. And this was through 77 games. He had another RBI yesterday, so he's at 69 giggity. But 32 home runs. OPS is insane right now for Cal Raleigh. And Fox showed a graphic the other day comparing him to Barry Bonds through his first basically half of the season.
Yeah, it's still Judge for me, but it is close and getting closer by the day. I would like to see us side by side with Judge on where they are currently, but I think is Cal only leading in homers, or does he pass him up in OPS and some other stuff now?
OPS shouldn't count though. Judge in Yankee Stadium versus Cal. Like, don't you want to go at least with an OPS plus for those two on that one?
Sure. Yeah. Where are we at on that? Any idea?
I'll look as AJ's commenting because I know AJ's on the other side.
Don't we want to go on the fact that Judge plays right field and Cal Raleigh catches every game? I mean, that needs to matter more than anything. He catches. He doesn't play right field. He catches every game. And he's got Big Dumper, great nickname.
Does he catch every game, AJ?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And when he doesn't catch, he DHs. He's pretty incredible. I mean, I never thought I'd see a season like this from a catcher, but he's doing it. And it takes a historic season. And by the way, that's a great sign. I like Big Dumper, and I cannot lie. It's pretty awesome.
He's at 203 Strip, OPS plus, and Judge is at 228. So he's still got a nice lead on the hitting side. But Cal's pretty elite defensively as well. It's good. It's a good debate.
Platinum glove last year. Platinum.
True. Hey, it's hot corner time, and yesterday, Ketel Marte was actually in tears in the game. There was a spectator that was yelling something to him about his late mother. Ketel's, mother passed away, and it was during an at-bat. So after that, he was, kind of visibly upset, and they ended up booting the fan. I think since then they've banned the fan from either that ballpark in Chicago or all ballparks across the league. I think it's all. And, a bunch of the guys like Perdomo commented after the game, that can't happen. We can't continue to do that BS in here. He used a bigger word that I can't use right now, and that the fan should be banned. AJ, thoughts?
This is tough because, first of all, let me say this. I feel terrible for Ketel Marte and what happened to his mother. Okay. I just want to let that people know that. Here's my thing with this is, this is one, why you shouldn't drink at games, because I don't know if this guy was drinking or not, but usually when people drink, they get out of hand and they say things they probably don't even know what they're saying. I get it. It happens. And Strip, I think you agree with me. People have said a lot of things to me over my career. Whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say, they've said those things to me. I just don't know where you draw the line. You can't control every single fan that says something. And to me, this is not knocking or putting down what happened to Ketel Marte's mother at all. But where do you draw the line? He didn't physically attack him. He didn't do what they did against Mookie Betts where they grabbed his arm. They didn't do when the White Sox fans jumped on the field and beat up the first base coach, back in 2003. So I just don't know. Just don't say anything. If you're a fan, and just try to be as nice as you can. I know you get mad, but again, it goes back to alcohol probably. And I don't know if this was a young kid. I think he was 22 years old. And from what I'm seeing on Twitter and being reported, again, I don't know this, but just don't say anything about people's family. Like, the line has to be drawn somewhere, and I don't know where that line is. But this is a bad situation. I feel sorry for Ketel Marte and what was said, but I just don't know where to draw the line. Now we're going to suspend people that yell things at players. You got to suspend half the damn fan base because they yell stuff all the time on the road.
Yeah, agreed, AJ, man. Like, it's a shame that we're sitting here having to say, don't yell something to a player about his mother. But, that's where we are. And I agree that it's an impossible line to draw. So I think what you have to do is, when things like this happen, it's a real shame. But I think you have to bring awareness and exposure to it and show Marte crying out on the field so that some fans can see that and see how it affects us. And, 99% of fans are great, and they're not going to yell something about your mom, but the 1% that do can see how it affects us, and maybe it makes them think twice, and then this happens less and less. So it really is, it's awful to see, and we all feel for Marte for sure. But I totally agree. I don't know where you draw the line. Like, most of it isn't good fun. Like, if you ever had the chance to sit out by the Yankees visiting bullpen or the Phillies visiting bullpen, you're going to hear some of the funniest, most outlandish, I guess, crap talking that you can hear. But when it crosses a line like this, I think we need to be able to bring awareness to it, to show that it's going too far, and it can't happen.
So my thing is, I'm kind of in between here. I'm definitely all for setting a precedent and telling fans, like, you want to say, hey, you stink, you can't hit, whatever, but let's create a line. It does get difficult because you're getting into semantics of what someone can and can't say. What I would like to see is, in my mind, some of the bigger physical issues that sometimes pop up, create a fan ban from all stadiums situation, because that's apparently what we have here. I don't know if it's for life or just for this year, but he's at least banned from all MLB stadiums. It could be for life. So Strip, the difference between that, which is awful to scream words like that at someone, versus two fans trying to rip Mookie Betts' arm off last year in the World Series. Are we serious?
Yeah, both are awful, right? Anytime a fan is physically making, putting their hands on a player, you never see that, right? I mean, that never happens. So that was an insane visual, where that fan pulls Mookie's arm, and is, almost being violent with the face that he's making. That was disturbing in a lot of ways. So that guy, lifetime ban for sure. As far as, yelling some stuff, we keep harping on it. It's impossible to draw the line. But yeah, when you're crossing like the line of physical violence, or physically, altering a player, I mean, that's totally different.
But that's my thing, is I don't know. I got to look back to see if they're banned for life. I know that they got somewhat of an indefinite ban, but the point I'm making
Scott,
is, originally when it happened, what?
Well, how does a ban work? Like, how can we actually enforce that player? Do they have facial recognition so it's effective? Like, all 30 stadiums can see, like,
they don't have
Joe
that.
Blow's here,
I mean,
let's
they
get
have
him out of here.
cameras, and they do. I know that they get a list, right? Like, that they have of people that you shouldn't let in the ballpark. So that's a thing too. I mean, not every fan showing their face, obviously, when you're entering a ballpark. That is probably going to eventually happen. I mean, that's what they have at the airport. But yeah, I mean, it's not perfect. You can try and show up with the Bobby Valentine disguise and see what happens. But I think then you're trespassing and can get put in prison. But my point is, I mean, AJ, you remember this was a huge topic for us when it happened last year. And, some podcasts were like joking about it, and haha, it's so funny. But if, like, you broke the dude's arm and those guys were trying to get all the press, and then they're crying about it afterward, they originally didn't get banned for life. I think that they originally were like going to come back the next day or something, weren't they?
Yeah. Yes. The Yankee idiots that did what they did with Mookie were going to come back, and they, not only that, they run like talk shows and podcasts saying, like, "Oh, we do it again, man. We did it right, and it's our place, and we're defending our corner." Like, dude, kick rocks, bro. Like, no, you don't need to touch a player. You don't need to yell at player. Listen, I understand booing. And, I mean, if I tried to get every fan that yelled something bad at me banned, heck, half the league would be banned, because especially in places like Wrigley. Are you kidding me? When I played for the White Sox, there were things that were yelled that you don't want to tell people. I felt bad for my family sitting in the stands. But you know what? It's a difficult line to draw. And I feel bad for Ketel Marte that it affected him this way. I do. I honestly do. And I don't know what the fan yelled. There's reports kind of coming out on what he said. And it sucks that this affected him the way it did. And I love Torey Lovullo for standing up for his guys, Perdomo for standing up for Ketel Marte and having his back. That's what teammates and brotherhood and being in a major league clubhouse is all about, is defending your guys. I just wish there was a way where we could get people to understand, like, getting personal with a baseball player. Like, oh, you feel cool for 5 seconds, and then, oh, okay. And then everyone's like, oh, look at you. You're funny. Ha ha. But it shouldn't be like that. I don't know. It's a bad situation. And I wish it wasn't a White Sox fan. I wish it wasn't any fan. But come on, guys. Like, if I went to your job, this is what I always tell fans. If you're sitting at a desk job, right, wherever it is, And Ross, you know this, if you're running your financial projections and I came up to you and just started wearing you out, you suck, this about your mom or this about your wife or this about your kids, right? What would happen? You would turn around and probably say something, maybe get physical, but baseball players and athletes in general are just told to sit there and wear it. Well, why? I mean, I'm not advocating guys going in the stands. I'm not advocating fights at all. But why do we have that notion like, oh, yeah, because you're on the field and I paid for a ticket, I can say whatever I want? Like, let's not have that. And let's look at it like if you were at your job, whatever your job may be, or whatever your life is, if I came to your job and yelled at you like that, would you get upset? 99% of the world would say yes. Guess what? Don't do it to an athlete.
Yep.
I've always thought that should be like an old school MTV show where you actually get athletes to go to people's workplace and do that. I think that would be fascinating.
Yeah, you Wikipedia the guy that's sitting at a computer, and you're sitting there, and I'm like, Ross, you suck. Blah, 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 blah. You're terrible. Boo! And then try to type on the keyboard and let me know how it works out, right? I mean, Listen, most athletes have an incredible sense of ignoring people and also just not letting things bother you. But every once in a while, a guy hits it right at home, and a person hits you too deep, and people say things back, and it affects them. And it's a sad state that it's come to this.
Yes, that fan is banned from all stadiums. Yeah, can you imagine at an office? Hey, your TPS reports suck. They're not organized. Anyway, all right. When we swing back, let's get to the Yankees as the rest of the division keeps playing catch up. Pinstripe territory host Derek Levandowski coming in hot. Well, if you're a normal human, you can't speak English to your pup. But what you can do to understand what they love, which is spot and tango on kibble, is to see how they react when you put the unkibble in the bowl. And my pup, Penelope, loves it. So does Bella.
Well, Bella speaks Spanish, so she says, muy bien. I love this stuff.
She says, wow, Dad, thanks for creating a custom plan based on my age, weight, breed, and activity level. You nailed it. And also, it's made with 100% whole fresh ingredients like real USDA meats, fruits, and veggies, but it's 40% less expensive than frozen food. So upgrade your pet's bowl with Spot and Tango Unkibble. And for a limited time, go to spotandtango.com/foul and use code FOUL for 50% off your first order. That's spotandtango.com/foul. Code FOUL to get 50% off your first order. Chase Burns made his debut. AJ Pierzynski.
Hold up, Scott. By the way, Penelope, isn't your dog's name Penelope? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, it's from a movie from back in the day, Club Dread. I don't know.
I saw that. I saw that, but
you did.
You were too. I thought you were too on stuff to remember. Anyways, Chase Burns. What, he punch out the first 6 guys he saw? First 6 outs were punchies. And by the way, nailed my lock. Boom, boom. 5 innings. What I say? Terry Franco, not going to let him go 5 on the number. Bang. Lock checked in. He was electric. The Yankees got to him second time through. Ben Rice hit an absolute bomb off of him. But the biggest takeaway from this game is not only Chase Burns was really good, and he's got unbelievable stuff. Yankees suck in extra innings. We're going to get into it with Derek. The Yankees suck in extra innings.
It was the first 5, by the way, that he struck out.
Sorry.
Almost there.
Oh, that's right. Somebody hit a ground ball.
Yeah, 3 runs in 5 innings. A lot of 98, 99, 100 on the fastball. A lot of 91, 92, even 93 on the slider. I mean, he looks really damn good. And then one other note, too, about the Reds. Jeimer Candelario was DFA'd. We didn't have time to mention it yesterday, but we actually talked about it, 2 hours before it happened, AJ, when we had C. Trent Rosecrans on the day before?
You did, Scott. Kudos to you. Pat yourself on the back. You said, when is Jeimer Candelario going to get DFA'd? And then about 2 hours later, you spoke it right into existence. Because he was on – wasn't he on rehab assignment?
Yeah. I also brought it up because the signing was weird at the time, and it did not work out. Here we go. Pinstripe Territory host Derek Levandowski with us right now. Make sure you check out the show after every single Yanks game and their shows before that as well. Takes your voicemails, the whole deal. We'll talk more about it. Derek, good to see you, dude. And obviously we're bringing you in for a little therapy session. So first off, your general take on where the Yankees are at right now. But since we're a national show, really global, where is the AL East at right now?
Well, the Yankees are stumbling. Obviously, the AL East is tightening. So the Red Sox back to about 500. The Rays right on our heels. Orioles don't have to worry about them. We got the Blue Jays coming up, so that'll be an interesting series. The Yankees play in Toronto beginning next Monday, so that'll be an interesting series. They have not played well against the American League East in general, and over their last 11 games, they've played really bad. We had some guys that looked like they were heating up a couple of weeks ago when we played the Royals. Austin Wells looked like he was getting ready to go on his summer hit barrage, but he was hot for about as long as my coffee this morning, about 5 minutes, and he's cooled off. We got a lot of bats cooling off, and it's been a rough week, and the fans are feeling the Yanks.
Derek, I just want to know this. It's such a typical Yankee fan like you are to mention the Red Sox first and not even bring up the Rays or the Jays. The Rays are a game back, and the Yankees suck in extra innings. So God forbid if they go into extra innings, because they are terrible in extra innings. But typical Yankees fan, the Red Sox, they're not doing anything. But the Rays and Jays are bringing it, and especially the Rays. The Rays are the hottest team going. Are you worried?
I mean, it's hard not to be worried. We've seen a 5.5 game lead shrink to 1 game over the past, week or so. We've seen them flush leads in June and July in recent years. The Rays winning the division and playing in our minor league park would really, really upset a lot of people for some reason, I think. Look, the Yankees have just got to play better. If they can just play better, I think they can hold off these teams. But you've got some guys that have really cooled off. Paul Goldschmidt, over his last 30 games, is hitting 204. Anthony Volpe, over his last 10 games, is hitting 118. Judge, over his last 10 games, hitting 222 with just 2 home runs and 2 RBIs. Dominguez hitting 176 against lefties this year. Austin Wells, over the last 10 games, hitting 152. You can't have all of your big bats cold at the same time. We were hoping that when Stanton came back, maybe he would be hot. He's hit some singles, a couple of doubles, but he hasn't started leaving the ballpark yet. Ben Rice looks like he's coming out of it. He had home runs. He had a home run this weekend, and then he hit one yesterday that almost left the Great American Ballpark. So there's some promising signs, but you just gotta put it all together for a little while. The pitching has been really good, so that's one good sign. Rodon again last night was terrific. We got Max Fried going today. He's been terrific all year, but you got to support these guys with some runs.
Derek, what's up, man? Nice to meet you, bud. You just kind of touched on it. Yankees have, struggled in some summers in the past seasons. And here we go into a July where it's like only playoff teams coming up on the schedule. And you think about the Yankees when I was playing them and they just kind of like muscle their way through stretches like this, I feel like, because, the roster and the team kind of is what it is. And I just wonder, as you head into a stretch like this and into the All-Star break, like what are some of the things they can do within the cracks or going into this kind of stretch to right the ship a little bit?
Well, as AJ mentioned, and it's nice to meet you too, Ross, they're really bad in extra innings. And I think that goes to the approach in general of being a slugging team. They don't move runners over. A lot of times you start with the Manfred runner in extra innings and you don't move them over. And I think just the little things like that add up. There's been some bullpen meltdowns. It seems like, we used to have this thing where every night a different hero would step up, right? Well, it seems like every night a different guy in the bullpen has a tough night. And, guys like Loaizaga, who have been injured, but, coming back, he's going to have to step up. We got Luke Weaver back in there now, so maybe he can get hot again. He was not exactly inspiring in his first outing, but he pitched a little bit better last night. I just think you got to get better in the margins. And again, Aaron Judge needs to get hot. When this team is hot, it's because Aaron Judge is hitting. He's slipped over the last couple of weeks. And, when the best hitter in baseball goes down for a while, other guys have to step up, and they have not. They have not.
Derek, I want to ask you, you mentioned a lot of these guys, and Austin Wells, 708 OPS, Volpe, 729, Bellinger, 767. They're okay OPS-wise, but what are Yankee fans feeling about these guys because like you mentioned, it's a lot of their OPS. I mean, because then you go batting average, Austin Wells 216, Volpe 233. So a lot of their OPS is hitting for home runs. Are they an only home run hitting team? Is there a way to improve what they're doing? And are Yankee fans satisfied with what the lineup is doing?
Well, this is what we've been saying for the last decade or more. This Yankees approach, right? It's fruit from the poisonous tree, right? The things they teach in this organization is to just hunt fastballs and hit long balls, right? Draw walks, hit home runs. But you've got to play baseball too. There's one guy who I think plays decent baseball that you mentioned, and that is Cody Bellinger. I feel like his OPS is better than than it looks, because a lot of it is like doubles and stuff. Like, Volpe's OPS is held up by hitting 9 home runs in the first couple of months, and Jazz Chisholm's OPS is held up by hitting home runs early on. They don't get a lot of hits, right? They don't hit with runners in scoring position. They don't hit a lot of doubles. I don't have the stats in front of me. I mean, maybe they've compiled numbers, but it seems like they go long stretches without productive at bats. I think it was John Boy pointed out they have more big innings than almost any team, but then they have a lot of innings where they don't score because they're, to quote one of the guys, I think it was, I can't remember his name. The guy from the baseball documentary, Ken Burns documentary, said the strategy is to put 2 guys on and then have Godzilla hit one into Tokyo Bay. That seems to be the Yankees' approach for the better part of a decade right now. It's failed in the playoffs. It always fails at some point for a long stretch during the summer. And their hope is that they can just get to the playoffs and 1 or 2 guys get hot, like Stanton last year, and you slug your way to the World Series, and maybe you build a really good pitching staff that can stay healthier than a lot of other teams can afford to keep a staff. So that seems to be the approach. Right now, it's frustrating because they're just not putting up runs. And when you see a team that has $300 million payroll that's scoring 1 run night after night, it's just incredibly infuriating as a fan.
Derek, where are the fans at on Jazz Chisholm? Last night, he gets ejected in an extra inning game, 2-0 pitch, borderline. He won't let it go. And what was interesting to me is if you watch the broadcast, he was kind of yelling, and Boone and Brad Ausmus and the rest of the team wasn't really like, I don't want to say they weren't standing up for him, but they weren't telling him to quiet down either, right? They were just kind of letting him have, and then he gets ejected. It leads to Escara having to play third base. Not that it ended up hurting him, but you know what I'm saying. Like, where are the Yankee fans at with Jazz Chisholm? It could have, but it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you bring this up because we had some calls about this last night on the show. A lot of people felt like it was an incredibly immature thing to just let it drag on. Yeah, calls get blown, right? I mean, how many calls get overturned every single day, and how many umps miss calls in big spots? It's part of the game, right? I mean, sometimes you're going to have calls that don't go your way, especially in a tight game. You've got to just put that in your pocket, set it aside, and get to work. And, we hear a lot about how, New York fans are, knowledgeable about baseball and things like that. And this is one of the spots where it shows up for me because I feel like instead of calling in and being pissed at the ump for blowing the call, people were calling in. They were pissed at Jazz for putting the team in a difficult spot. Now, like you said, thankfully it didn't end up hurting the team. But, I mean, who knows what could have happened? I mean, the game could play out any number of different ways if you don't, in any number of scenarios, if he doesn't get ejected. So, it was, in my opinion, a bad case of judgment to let it keep going. And you mentioned Boone and the coaches not standing up for Jazz, but also not quieting him down. I think you got to step in right there when you see, hey, this is a tight game. Jazz is really ticked off. Let's settle him down. Let's say, hey, go to your happy place for a second, right? And then to borrow a Happy Gilmore parlance, go to your happy place, settle it down, and go get him. Be pissed after the game. Maybe you can say something to the reporters after the game. Let them know you're unhappy. But right now is not the time.
Yeah, agreed, Derek. Hey, last question here. Probably no one more excited to see out of the division Rafael Devers than Garrett Cole. I don't know if he was public enemy number 1 for the Yankees fans, but certainly for Garrett Cole. But now that Devers is out of the division, who are Yankees fans claiming public enemy number 1 got their sights on?
I tell you what, Jackson Holliday looks like he's coming around. He's going to be a problem for years and years. Caminero, could be a real problem for a while. Roman Anthony, I saw his 500-foot home run in the minor leagues. I watched his first major league home run. I haven't seen a lot of him other than that, but he's going to be good. I don't think we've identified public enemy number one. Right now, it might honestly be Aaron Boone. It might be, whether it's deserved or not. I feel like that's the way the papers are going. But I think that's to be determined. But it is nice to see Rafi out on the West Coast, and I hope he has a really nice long career very far away from Gavin.
There you go. Nice trade by Boston. Yeah, I would say, yeah. Well, you mentioned Booney. Is Volpe the guy you're hearing the most complaints about on the roster?
Fans are tough on him. Yeah, fans are tough on him right now. And look, he's 24 years old, so I try not to be too tough on him. I mean, he's still growing as a player. It's very difficult. Alexa, stop. Sorry. I was setting my alarm to come on later. You guys got me to come on a little bit earlier. But yeah, I feel like he's got room to improve, and I don't think he's done improving. As Boone always says, improvement is not linear for young players. You'll see him go through spurts where he looks really good. He makes an adjustment, and then things kind of settle back in and he goes through a long stretch. I wish he wasn't quite so streaky. I feel like he's struggled more defensively this year than we've seen him struggle, especially in big spots. That's been a concern. And you're starting to hear more whispers about, oh, maybe we should trade Volpe. Maybe we should get another shortstop. And I just keep saying, who's out there that's better? I mean, there's nobody available that's good, that's better or cheaper than Volpe right now. You got Lombard coming up, but he's hitting 220 in Double-A, so he's no threat to Volpe right now. So I think you just stick with him. I think that the strategy for fans should be to cheer him on, get a little bit of our Trey Turner vibes, give the kid a nice ovation, really get behind him, show him some of that love that we showed him when he first came up. And maybe he'll get back to being that player that we saw in the first part of last year when he got on base for 34 straight games and was doing such a great job in front of Soto and Judge to set the table. But since then, he's kind of been up and down.
I agree. I'm with you. I mean, he's definitely, at least average, if not above average. He's not a superstar. And I think some Yanks fans were looking at him, as their top prospect, thinking this guy's going to be a superstar. Well, he's not a superstar.
Sinatra doesn't say he wants to be middle of the heap or, middle of the pack, right? We want to be number one, top of the list, right? That's what we're trained to expect as fans.
Expectations are high, and that's fair. And also, by the way, Max Fried has a 2.05 ERA, which is not too shabby, too. So I want to make it like the world is ending for Yanks fans. But much more of this, obviously, every single night with Derek post-game, and then you can catch him at least a few times a week before games as well. Takes voicemails, the whole deal. Derek, good to see you, man.
Good to see you guys, too. Take care.
Appreciate you. It's called Pinstripe Territory. That's Derek Levandowski. Be right back. Gavin Lux joining us soon. BetMGM locks. Bummer. AJ, I can't believe I held back everyone hitting. It's my bad.
Yeah, we're used to you bringing us down, Scott. Not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm still up. Don't worry about it. Trevor with a nice hit. Just pick the Rays to win every day because it's pretty much been the case. Nice job on Burns and Crochet doing what you do, although the Red Sox still lost against the Angels. Dude,
listen,
I'm telling you, that lineup, I mean, I don't have to tell you, but they're putting everything on Roman Anthony and the kiddos to save the day, and I am fading this team down the stretch.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing, but listen, I nailed it. I said Crochet would go 7. He went 7. I said Burns would go 5. He went 5. And the Red Sox losing that game, the fact they couldn't score was unbelievable. And Christian Moore, what a night for Christian Moore, by the way. 2 homers, walk-off homer. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, pulled one,
AJ
hitting the other.
Hitting a $250 parlay and still down 300, man.
This is what I do, Strip.
Get that going.
This is what I do. I get down, and then I make a huge comeback, and then I get down again. I make another huge comeback because I bet big. I don't bet like I don't go like Scott and bet like I'm gonna bet minus 175, minus 340, and just one boom, boom, boom.
Minus
like
340.
I try to go like I try to go. I always like pluses. Like I'm a plus kind of guy.
He is a plus guy. So what's your pick tonight?
All right, I got Mackenzie Gore over 5.5 punch outs. He's punched out 9 in the past against the Padres. I think that's plus 120 on its own. Like, geez, I feel like he's going to go out and just dominate. And then I'm going. This is where it's getting crazy. I'm going Mets money line over the Braves. The Braves have beat the Mets every time. I just like this matchup. Holmes against I think Lopez. I think is pitching for the Braves, and I just think that Mets are due to beat the Braves, and that gets me to plus 271. So. Yeah, I know it's kind of wild, but I'm going for it.
Boom. There you go. And then I'll give you mine later. We'll get Pap's pick later on too. Reminder to everyone, the Big League live stream is coming soon, June 30th. We're 5 days away. It'll start around 5 o'clock Eastern time. And you can stay tuned, obviously, to our socials. We'll give you more on it. But look at the guest list. It's nice. Sheffield, Andrew Jones, AJ Kratzmy are there. But Dylan Betances, Dexter Fowler, Kevin Pillar, Colton Wong. I'll be on the broadcast too, so I can talk shit about AJ for a while, even though he's the defending champ, so it's kind of hard to do that, but maybe I can tell the audience all of his moves. So make sure you check all of that out, and if you're in Vegas, come say hi. In the Weeds is powered up by Arena Club. We're doing our top 5 starting pitchers in the game right now. All right, Strip, fresh off the field, and now you have to pick favorites. Who are your top 5 starters in the sport? And yeah, it's probably, not difficult to put together the tippy top, but you're definitely going to have to make some tough decisions later on. So how'd you put your list together?
Yeah, my first 4 were pretty easy to put together. I did in order: Skubal, Skenes, Wheeler, and Webb. And I imagine we're going to have some overlap there, AJ. And then my 5th spot, I went back and forth a lot and really found myself between the 3 lefties that I like, which are Crochet, Max Fried, and Framber Valdez. And I ended up going Framber for just steady Eddie, man. He's been like top 10 Cy Young last 5-6 years. He's got a better playoff pedigree than Max, and then just more innings under his belt than Crochet. I imagine by the end of the year, there's probably World Crochets on this list. And I wanted to put DeGrom on there. He's making his way back into this too. But I live in Houston. I see what Framber does every 5th day, and he's done it for 5-6 years now. I think I had to put him in there in the 5th spot.
AJ, any thoughts? Why don't you lay your list out first, and then we can see.
First, I can't complain about any of that, but I went Skubal, Skenes 1-2. It's hard to argue that those 2 guys aren't the best in each league. Skubal,
How
Skenes.
about AJ, why'd you put Skubal first?
Because he's left-handed, and he talks trash. That's why I love it.
Yeah,
And then I went 300
exactly.
Brown.
That was the same.
And I went 300 Brown because I just like where he's at right now. And by the way, he drilled Neto, and then Neto said something, and Hunter Brown went after him. Hunter Brown ain't backing down. So I like that. I love that about any pitcher. Then I went Zach Wheeler 4, and I went Logan Webb 5. I would have thrown Chris Sale in there, but he's hurt right now, and this is right now. Also, you could throw Crochet in there. You could throw a bunch of guys in there. But for me, Logan Webb, he takes the ball every 5th day, and he freaking dominates, man. Every time he takes the ball, he just dominates. So those are my top 5. Argue me if you want. I know people are going to say Hunter Brown's probably a little too high. Look at his numbers, man. Look at what he's done. That sinker that he's found has been good.
How many times I sat in the dugout in 2023 on the Giants and would look up after 6 innings and Logan Webb would be at like 64 pitches. And I'd be like, what is going on here? I mean, it's almost like let the first guy get on and let the next guy hit a first pitch double play. I mean, he does that 3 times a game and you can't print a pitcher better for that stadium. And he's a bulldog, man. Logan Webb deserves to be on this list, no doubt.
So you've seen him pitch a lot. I mean, kind of give us the evaluation of his stuff and why it stands out and it's different. And he's really so different from almost anybody else on your lists. I guess you can make a little bit of a Framber comp. He'll rack up ground balls too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's, the other guys are power, right? And even though Webby is starting to mix in some like 94, 95s up in the zone, which is just unfair, he just crushes you with this stuff down in the zone. And what makes him different is actually you talk to hitters about why you just pound Logan Webb into the ground or even get swing and miss. And it sounds like what they say is specifically on the changeup, but even on the sinker a little bit, is you see it out of the hand, you read it. Oh, that's a changeup. But it moves 3 different ways. One goes down, one runs into you, one might even cut a little bit. And you're like, oh, I see changeup. I'm moving my barrel to it, and it moves one of the 3 ways, and you don't know which one. And all of a sudden, you hit a 19 hopper to the shortstop, and you're back in your dugout. So I just think it's not only is he deceptive and has extreme movement profiles, his movement profiles are erratic in a way that hitters can't plan for, or their eyes don't even know how to tell him what it's doing. So I think that just makes him so frustrating.
Hey, Strip. So we did a thing early in the year where we had to pick our 3 players we'd want to choose to start a team with. And he was one of my picks, and Kratz and Scott blew me up. So thank you for having my back on this one. They blew me up about, I'm like, Logan Webb, yes. Cal Raleigh was one of them. I forget my other one, maybe Bobby Witt. And then my one pitcher I picked, because I got confused by what it was supposed to be, but I picked Logan Webb because, again, I like guys that take the ball every fifth day. They get quick outs. They go deep into games every time, and he's perfectly made for his ballpark.
Yep, spot on, man. 200 innings every year. Just go ahead and pencil that in. He might even lead the NL in innings every year for the foreseeable future. And yeah, it's just, and there's too many nights where it's just easy. Last year I pitched against him and I was actually doing really well, and he threw like a 2-hit complete game shutout and didn't even give me a chance. So it's just there's nights where he takes the ball in that stadium and the game's over before it even starts.
Wow. We got one fan with reaction to this. Adrian said, "Where's Andrew Abbott?" I mean, I can make the same case for Chris Bubich, who's having a sick year, but that's like a little too current. And you want to see a little more of a track record, right, AJ? Even for Hunter Brown, who was really bad the first, couple months of the season last year. Now, consistently, you go for at least, June, so almost the rest, or all but 2 months of last season, and then halfway through this season, and I mean, he's got a top 3 ERA. He looks like a 1. So what's the delineation, I guess?
Plus, I wanted to throw some young blood in there. Yes, Andrew Abbott's having a nice year, but he's got such a history of being injured, and it's just I don't know. I got to see more, like you said, and yes, he's having a great year. There's a lot of guys that are having a great year, but this time next year, you do this list, guess who might be on it? Andrew Abbott. But for me, these are the guys that I like right now, and like I said, I like guys that talk a little trash. So Hunter Brown drills a guy, goes after him, right? Logan Webb, he'll strike you out. He'll talk a little bit. I mean, Chris Sale, those guys. I mean, Scooble talks trash. These are the guys I like. Sorry. We all have our opinion.
Yep, I'm with you.
I love how he's on both of our lists, AJ. Sorry, real quick. I love how he's on both of our lists, Zach Wheeler, and we don't even talk about him. That's how underappreciated he is, man. Talking about what he's done the last couple of years and just doing it here again. He's on both of our lists, top 5, and we're barely even speaking about him.
He's the best for the longest period of time at this point. You look at the past, like,
playoffs,
5 years. Yeah, going back to 2020.
Look at his playoffs. Look at his playoff numbers. Are you kidding me? This dude is a stud. He's got to win that Cy Young.
The Mets that came up with, Harvey and Syndergaard and DeGrom and Wheeler and Matz. I think that was the 5. There might even be a 6 in there. And I think we're probably going to look back and say that Wheeler was the best and had the best career. DeGrom has the Cy Youngs, but is now, mixed in some injuries. We'll see how he ages. But Wheeler just like slow and steady in here, man. Of those Mets starting pitchers, it's unbelievable.
Wheeler's retiring 2 seasons from now. If he does what he's doing right now for 2 more seasons, he's probably a Hall of Famer. I know, he started a little bit late with his stardom, but he's getting close. I mean, you're going to be a top 5 Cy Young guy year after year. All right. We'll bring that debate up at some point.
I don't know. We'll have to talk about it, but we'll talk about that. Hall of Famers, we'll talk about it.
Okay. Hey, use code FOUL to get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase at arenaclub.com/FOUL. If you love collecting cards, this is the spot. Let's open a slab pack for you. Silver. So these are usually the cheapest ones. Just get yourself a little pack. You don't have to deal with all the common cards and all the crap. I got myself a Jared Jones. How you doing? There we go. Who is going to be missing a little bit of time. I guess at this point, probably, AJ, back in 2027 or at the end of 26.
Sucks.
Yeah,
sucks.
But I would hold on to this card. At the end, I was
trade
offered.
That? You want to?
It's not fancy. I was offered. I think it was like 22 or 27, whatever it was, bucks, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna hold on to that one for a while. So anyway, you can do this on Arena Club. They'll send you the card. You just ask for it. They'll mail it over to you. But if you don't want it, you can sell it back and then try to get more cards. But you don't have to deal with all of the physical card dealing over and over again and shipping stuff out, right? Just keep it within your platform, then get it when you want it. Code's FOUL for 20% off your first card purchase or slap pack. We will be right back with Better Than Box Scores and then Gavin Lux after that.
What's up, my beautiful people of FT? You know who it is. It's Parlay Pap coming to you hot off a fresh winter. Yeah, we're going to keep on playing with that house money. That's what we do. So let's get it. I'm going Zach Wheeler. I'm going Yamamoto. We're going to parlay them together. We're going to get plus money again. I mean, you're just going to keep on stacking this cheese. That's how we get it. Let's go, FT Nation. And all my FT gamblers, let's get it.
You like that, Strip? That's Pap every day with us.
I've never heard him talk. I had no idea he had that. Where's he from? Like Georgia or Alabama or something?
He's from Mississippi, yo. He's from the SIP.
Mississippi. Yeah.
All right, I'll give you mine. I'm gonna go against what I did yesterday, where I took the under on Scooble and the Tigers against the A's. It was 7.5, and this time I'll take an alt line, so I'll go over 8 runs. It's at -130. Obviously, they put together 15 runs yesterday. A's have a very bad bullpen. Tigers have a great offense. Flaherty's on the mound. I think the A's will tack on a few. So I'll take the over here at 8. Obviously, if it's even, you just scratch it. So we'll see what happens. And then if you're going with a home run pick tonight, you got to go to BetMGM to make it happen. Here's our picks, by the way. AJ, Pap, and myself. Actually, yes, got it at -125, not -130. I think it moved. So if you're going with a home run lock tonight, no sweat. Tokens are available. Get it on the BetMGM app or at BetMGM.com. That is pretty easy to understand. If your home run bet doesn't hit, but you activate the token, you're going to get your stake back in bonus bets up to a certain amount. So go check that out. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Coming right back to hit some news, and then we'll get ready for Gavin Lux. Let's hit better than box scores. It was a good Tuesday slate. Tight series. 8-7 win for the Cardinals. Helsley shut the door on the Cubs. And what happened out here in center field, AJ? PCA, your MVP candidate, who's doing everything right, finally did something wrong.
Yeah, he was the MVP for the Cardinals yesterday. Also, let's not forget. But he also hit a couple of piss missiles in this game too. So, he just forgot. It happens. Listen, Strip, have you ever forgot how many outs there were? I've done it before. I've forgotten how many outs there were. It just is in the middle of the game. He thought he made a nice catch. He's like, and then the winning run happened to score. But the Cardinals are playing well. The Cardinals win the first 2 games of the series. It's an important series, and they won the first 2 games, and they're going to continue to push. So we'll see. But the Cubs, like the Yankees, are starting to falter a little bit, and they're starting to feel a little bit of heat from other teams in the division.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a black eye there on a perfect resume for him so far this year, as far as like perfect scenario of who was on second, able to capitalize on that situation. One of the fastest guys in the big leagues, scoring from second there, and then ends up being the winning run. So it stinks for him. It's going to be eye opening, and I think an awakening, I guess, of sorts. But if you're going to give anybody the benefit of the doubt, I think it's outfielders. They're standing out there. We talked earlier about fans chirping and stuff. You're listening out of both ears of people chirping at you from both sides, and you can lose focus every now and then. But my goodness, man, there's only 3 outs. You got to count 1, 2, 3, and you're going to do it a million times over the course of your career. I just, in my opinion, there's no excuses, but I do know it happens.
Yeah, and it led to Mason Wynn scoring. Pesky Cardinals team. You're shaking your head, AJ.
Listen.
What?
No, listen. I've done it. I've done it on the bases. Get thrown out. Think it's 3 outs. I did a catching one time. I ran into the dugout, and Ozzie and Joey Cora just looked at me and was like 2, and I was already in the dugout because I think I was leading off, so I was trying to get there quick, and it was the second out, and they're like, "That's only 2," and I was like, "Oh." So then you just tuck your head down and go back to your position. Luckily, as a catcher, though, nobody scored, but still, it's embarrassing. He knows it, And as Lou Piniella once told Milton Bradley in Chicago, you got to put sunflower seeds in your pocket. 1, 2, 3. We need 3 outs in this game.
What if you get
The
hungry?
one that's crazy to me, the one that's crazy to me is when the pitcher doesn't know he got 3 outs. Like sometimes he'll get the 3rd out and like go back on the mound like he's going to get the ball and get another out, and it's like, no, you got 3 outs. You can walk to the dugout now. That's the one that's crazy to me.
That's when you're really dialed in and you just want to keep going.
Yeah.
The one that gets me, Strip, is I never understood this. Listen, I made the mistake, but I always knew the count, especially when I was hitting. So when I was catching and hitters would go, "What's the count?" I was like, "How do you not know what the count is right now?" There's a million scoreboards, and listen, again, I made the mistake of not knowing the outs, but the count to me, especially when I was hitting, that's my at bat. Like I have to own this at bat, so I know every pitch and ball and strike. And when hitters would go, "What's the count?" I'd be like, "Oh, we got this, dude."
Yeah, I only hit like 93 times in my career or something like that, but I guarantee you I knew the count in all 93 of them. Yeah, I can't yeah, just like lock it in for those couple minutes. How you could ever forget the count is beyond me.
Let's get to the Mets and the Braves. Spencer Strider versus Juan Soto. I'm here for it, AJ. You got to love this.
Oh.
Soto's like, nah, that's not strike 3. He got rung up. And Strider's like, it's right down the middle. I'm going to play the middleman here. It is strike 3. It's not down the middle.
No, it's not. But you know what? I love it. Spencer Strider's tired of umpires giving Juan Soto the benefit of the doubt. That's a strike. I'm sorry. It's a great pitch down and in. And if you notice Soto does this a lot where he's already flipping the bat to take his walk. Like we all know he's got a great eye, but umpires fall into the trap. And this time the home plate umpire didn't do it, and Spencer Strider let him know. This stuff I love. It's a division rival. The Braves know how important this series is. They won the first 2. But listen, Spencer Strider's letting Juan Soto know, look, dude, that's a strike. Swing the bat.
Yeah, spot on, man. It's a strike. The only thing I would change is I would change my verbiage. I would have said that's paint. That's paint. I painted that pitch. I'm not going to admit that I threw it down the middle. I'm going to say that's corner, or that's paint, or that's right on the black, or that's right where I wanted it, or something like that. I'm not going to sit there and say I threw the ball down the middle.
Did you ever get into it with guys that were trying to coax their way into a walk?
The famous one that I went viral for on this show is my Stanton one, which is totally different. If you need a couple minutes, just Google Ross Stripling Stanton, where I was a young guy having to throw high and inside to Stanton. He starts coming at me, yelling some words that I can't repeat here, and me saying, someone come help me. But no, none that come to mind, but it happens all the time, man. It's normal across sports, man. You watch like basketball or something that people chirping at refs and umpires. It's just it's part of the game, unfortunately.
I chirp all the time. Are you kidding me?
You
Listen, dude, there were guys that would take pitches. I'd be like, it's the strike, dude. Swing the bat, bro. You don't want to walk. Like you get paid to swing the bat. Swing the bat. They'd be like, oh, I want to walk. I'm like, no. Swing the bat. That's a strike. And I'd be hitting, and sometimes the catchers I'd take one, I'd kind of argue the umpire, and the catcher would look at me and be like, that's a strike. I was like, okay, I'll shut up now. Thank you.
You know the one I get, AJ, that is funny is the opposite, where like let's say I got 2-0 and I'd throw a wrinkle 2-0, like a changeup or a slider or something 2-0, and the guy grounds out, pops out or whatever, and then you're doing that inevitable run back past the pitcher to get back to your dugout, and they mumble something out of your breath that once again I can't repeat here, but like something along the lines of like, throw me a fastball, you wimp. And you'd be like, dude, I throw 91. I'm not going to give you a strike fastball on a 2-0 count. This is the only reason I'm here is because I can throw something in a 2-0 count. Those were always my favorite, when guys would run by and just mother F me for throwing them a wrinkle in a 2-0 count. It's like, dude, that's the only game I have here.
I would never do that. I would have never have done that. I would never have been that guy. Me and Justin Verlander got into it one time because I kind of did that with him one time. If you ask the White Sox people, it's kind of a funny story. And then the next at bat, you know what he did? He threw 100 by me 3 times. And I was like, you win.
Yep.
Because he went curveball. Yeah, and I was yelling at him from the dugout. I was like, throw a fastball, you bleepity bleep. And he next at bat, he's like, okay. And I sat down real quick, and I was like, okay, you win. So listen, I would never have done that to anybody.
Yep, that's the difference. I didn't have that in my back pocket. So when that guy came up next, I led off with the pitch that I got him out with last time, just to hopefully make him so mad that then he sees red, and then I can just get him out easier.
Hey, another note from Mets Braves. Frankie Montas returned 5 shutout innings, 3 hits, 3 walks, 5 Ks. So whatever they were trying to fix in the minors, they fixed it just in time. That's good for them because they're missing some dudes. Obviously,
they lost because their bullpen imploded.
Yeah,
the bullpen imploded.
Their bullpen had been so good in the beginning, but yeah, and you had some guys that
threw so much.
But
here's the problem: they threw a lot early in the year. So they're Strip. You can speak to this, man. They got tired. They're starting to get worn down. They've thrown so many innings. Their innings for a long time, they were one in baseball in innings. It's come down a little bit, but man.
Yeah, it's tough. It's especially, we're not even at the All-Star break yet, and if you're starting to see some fatigue set in like that, that's no good. So you got to get some fresh life in there. Give those guys breaks where you can, because it's a long season and we're not even here in July yet. So yeah, that's a thing for sure, man. The teams that are elite at running bullpens, you talked about it earlier. I can't remember who we were talking about. You said, Hinch is elite at running a bullpen, man. That's a skill, and it shows its way over a course of 162 games, and it's a thing, man, no doubt.
Yeah, and also Sean Manaea shut down for 2 to 3 days, discomfort from a loose body in his left elbow. We'll keep you posted on that one. Let's step aside here. Gavin Lux getting ready right now in the green room, joining us next. All right, we're back. The Rays won again last night. That's probably the quietest run of dominance that we've seen this season. So their record since May 9th, AJ, for the Tampa Rays is 28-14.
The Tampa Rays.
It's working.
It's Tampa Bay Rays, because the people in St. Pete and Sarasota will cry if you don't call them Tampa Bay. So they've been great. Like Derek said, though, they don't even talk about them. They don't even talk about him. We just had Derek on as Mr. Yankee guy. They don't even talk about him, man. They're a good team. They can pitch. They got timely hitting and Junior Caminero. Let's get him in the home run derby, please.
We mentioned Aranda's really good too, and Taj Bradley dominated yesterday in there. I think it was a 5-1 win over the Royals.
Yeah, Aranda's just had 1,000 OPS in AAA the last 2 years, and they finally decided to call him up and let him go, and here he is. I mean, the Rays just continue to do Rays stuff, man. You used to have the excuse of being like the Trop. You go to the Trop, that's where you go to die, and they just beat you 2-1 in the Trop in 92 minutes, and you'd be like, what the heck just happened? But now they're doing it in this other park and making that an advantage for them as well, all the while having the best road record, like it just said. So it's just in the AL East, you got juggernauts, and then you have the Rays just quietly doing what they do and sneaking their way probably into the playoff picture and making some noise, man. It just they're impressive. They're model driven, whatever all that stuff is that they do, and it works.
They're hot on the Yankees till they're 1 game back of first place in the American League.
By the way, they changed too. Quick. Listen, they've changed their philosophy. Remember, it was opener and short starts. Now their starters go deep. Pepio, Taj Bradley, and all these guys, Littell, they go deep into games now. It's completely flipped.
Yeah, they've had 5 dudes make 16 starts. I wonder how many teams have that. I mean, when you have that kind of stability and consistency, man, that goes a long way. They don't need to do any of that creative stuff. They're just running 5 dudes out there and letting them go.
They're going against the grain. They did back then. Now they're going against the grain again, while they're letting everyone go a little bit deeper into their starts. And obviously that's going to help the bullpen too. So very impressive run right now from the Rays. And I mean, credit to them. They've been able to build the starting staff like this. All right, let's get to Gavin Lux. Reds, big walk-off win yesterday against the Yanks. We'll also ask him about Chase Burns' debut coming up. We got Red Slugger Gavin Lux joining us right now, Mr. Walkoff. How you doing, man? And this is a holiday. It's a national holiday. It's National Chicken Strip is now a media member day.
Strip, what up, baby?
Luxy, what's up, man? Been a minute,
How we
dude. Good to
doing,
see you.
fellas?
Red's your color, man. You look good.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
What do you think? What do you think, Gavin? You think he's going to be able to kick it in the media world?
Yeah, he's smart, man. Ross is good at everything. I should probably hire him as my financial advisor too, but that's a topic for a different day. Yeah, he's going to be fine. Ross is really smart.
Hey, Luxy, appreciate that, man. How's everything going, dude? How's it's fun to see you, man. Fun to see you yeah, hitting walk-offs, getting celebrated, all that stuff, man. How's the season?
It's going good. Yeah, I think just kind of getting adjusted off the rip there. New org, first time getting traded, all that. But I played against a lot of these dudes in the minor league, so kind of already knew a lot of guys over here. And then obviously having Tito as your manager, as you guys probably knows, one of the best managers you can probably have in the history of baseball. And this guy just gets it. And so, I mean, I'm having a great time, man. We started off slow, but I feel like June, we've kind of turned a corner a little bit, and it's a fun group to be a part of, man. Young and play hard and play the game the right way. So it's been an easy adjustment for me, at least.
Gavin, one thing that was funny for me, man, when I got traded out of LA, and you might feel the same. Let me know. Is I felt still so young because that team was so veteran with Kershaw and Justin Turner, et cetera, walking around, and then I found myself on the Blue Jays, who looked at me like I had all the answers. For one, because I was coming from LA, who has all the answers, but two, I was one of the more veteran guys on that team. And now here you are, kind of in a similar situation with a few seasons under your belt and a really young squad over there looking to make some noise. Like, how are these kids looking up to you, and do you feel like you're ready to take on that role? Because I'm not sure that I was.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's a total different, I guess, like presence clubhouse wise. Obviously, like you said, in LA, you got pretty much everyone there. It feels like it's like 10 years already in, and I think just kind of being around and I've gone through a lot of ups and downs and injuries and been through a lot kind of ringer wise. So I think just kind of being able to just talk to guys, like, and obviously trying to win, like play winning baseball and uh, whatever it takes to do to win the game that day, situational hitting, playing clean defense, running the bases right, all that stuff. But I think just day to day in the clubhouse, just you got a little more responsibility on your hands to this is the right way to do things. This is the right way to play the game. And I've actually enjoyed it a lot. It's been fun to kind of be on a younger team a little bit and in a different situation. It's kind of, I don't know, refreshing a little bit at times. And, but I mean, there's a lot of good players here, man, that know how to play the game the right way. And I don't think anyone's looking at me like, hey, man, what do we do? It's like, no, we know how to play winning baseball already. And I think there's just it's a long season, so there's ups and downs, and just being kind of supporter in the clubhouse for the younger guys that might not have had to go through struggles daily, or where you don't get a hit for 30 straight at bats, or your first time on your IL, whatever that may be, and just trying to be supportive, man.
Gavin, a different role for you, which is kind of awesome. And going from LA to Cincinnati, different role for you. Last night in your walk-off, first of all, were you happy that Ellie didn't run first to third because it got you the opportunity for the walk-off? And then second of all, when you hit the walk-off, did you know it right away? Why don't they rip your shirt off anymore? Like they used to rip guys' shirt off. You were kind of like, no. I don't want to show off my 8-pack.
I mean, originally I was like, hey, we got to go first to third on that, and like, whatever, but it should happen. So we won either way, so it is what it is. But Nellie's been carrying us on his back for the last couple weeks, but I don't know. I kind of got jammed, man. I think I probably broke my bat. I don't know how hard I hit it. It wasn't hit real hard, but so yeah, off the bat it was like, oh yeah, that's a blue pit, and I'll take it. But yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have my jersey ripped off. I don't know, man. Maybe it's too tight and they couldn't get it off. I don't know, but no, that was a good win, man. The Yankees are good, so to take 2 from them is huge for the momentum that we kind of got going.
I love the reaction, Gavin. You just turn around and let them maul you, as opposed to like running around in the outfield making them chase you. I thought that was great, man. They all just hit you at once. It almost looked like the College World Series dog piling away. How about when you like look out on the field and your shortstop's just throwing up? in shallow left field. You were in the dugout at the time. Like, what, if you're standing at second base, third base, there, like, what's the play? Do you run over and be like, "Dude, you okay?" You kind of like let him get it out first.
I mean, it was like, I think the feel in St. Louis, I mean, you guys know how it is, day game St. Louis in the summer. Like, it's not fun. I think it was like, field was 106 out. But yeah, I was in the dugout and I was kind of getting loose, warming up for like a pinch hit spot, because I think a lefty started, or maybe not, whatever. I was getting warmed up, and the game stopped on the overhead view in the camera in the cage, and I was like, what is going on? So I ran out. I'm like, oh my God, Ellie just yacked like a gallon's worth of water just all over left field. And he stayed in the game. So, I mean, he's a warrior for it. It's hot as shit, and it's miserable. And but yeah, I was like, oh God, like this is the last thing we need is Ellie to go down or get sick, whatever. But he's a gamer, man. The kid puked and rallied, and then I think he hit a home run next at bat.
He's pretty good. By the way, we got to stop on the S word. Sorry, Gavin, we're on TV. So I love it. It doesn't bother me, but there might be certain people out there that it does bother. Pete Rose didn't care. I promise you that. Pete Rose did not care. But there's certain people out there that might.
Sorry,
care.
mother, I'm sorry. Mom, I'm sorry.
Understood. All right, now I got to ask you this. Last night was the debut of Tito's fishing chair. Did you have anything to do with his new chair? And why won't he sit in it? He won't sit in it? They got him this nice fancy chair, and Tito still won't sit in the chair.
I mean, he might be scared he's going to fall off it. I don't know. But yeah, it's a fit. They screwed in like a fishing boat chair, and I guess he had it in Cleveland too. I don't know, but I guess if Tito wants a fishing chair, what are you gonna do? Say no to him? But yeah, I'm like, saw him and I'm like, why did we put it in if you're not going to sit in it? So I don't know, but it's kind of sick. I mean, it's like a 5 foot tall fishing chair that is cushioned. It's probably better than sitting on a bench.
Gavin, how about there's just like some overlap between my career and yours as far as where we're at, and I'm 5 years ahead of you now. I just wonder, like, when you went from LA to Cincinnati, I went from LA to Toronto, and it ended up being such a good thing for me that I got new eyes on me, even though I feel like the Dodgers had set me up for success and had really unlocked a lot of things in me. I'd kind of gotten stale in what I was doing over there, and you get over to like new coaching, new ideas, and new things like, and I kind of took off to another level, and I think that's a big reason why. Have you noticed that with changing to a new organization, new coaches? Have they unlocked anything in you that maybe you weren't thinking about a few years ago?
Yeah, I think sometimes, like you said, whenever you get a new voice or get around different people with different thoughts, or even like different terminology on stuff hitting, it might be the same thing that you heard before, but it's said in a different way that makes more sense. And for me, getting around Chris Valleca, our hitting coach, I didn't really think about my posture a lot in my swing too much. Like, a lot of it was more like bat pass stuff, lower body stuff, all that. But kind of like my posture and my setup, I never really thought about much for whatever reason. And he kind of helped me when I'm at my best. I'm like kind of like hinged a little more, and not just like in my legs and my torso's upright. So I'm kind of a little more like cracked at the waist and hinged. And it kind of helps me use the ground better and control my gather load, and just puts me in a better spot body wise to get my swing off. And but yeah, like you said, just sometimes it's refreshing getting around new people, new voices, and just trying to hear what guys thought or had to say. And but that's one thing that stands out that kind of for me made sense. Oh no.
We lost him.
Oh, we've had that.
Where'd we go? What happened? You lost your hat?
No, I'm on a timed. I'm in a back room. I think there's like a timed light. That's my fault.
Yeah, the lights. We've had that happen. Yeah, you got to clap.
Yeah.
All right. So I have two more questions for you before you go. One, Chase Burns last night. How good is he? I mean, can you put him in the Hunter Green, Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo conversation after one performance? Because that stuff was good.
I mean, that first inning, I felt like a fan. I was just kind of in the dugout and I'm like, wow. I mean, just the stuff from the side. I got one live at bat off him in spring, and it was like this kid's like ready now, like pretty much right out of college. And yeah, I think you can kind of slot him in with all those other guys. Not only just the stuff, but like his mound presence. I mean, he was relaxed. Didn't show any crazy emotion, but like he came in the dugout, and I told our GM Brad, I was like, man, like he's a quiet kid. He's a great kid, but he gets on the mound and it's like he's trying to kill you. Like you can see it in his eyes, like in a serial killer way. Like he's trying to he's not scared. He's going right at you. And I mean the stuff paired with that, it's like he's special. And to do what he did against one of the best lineups in baseball right out of the chute there, it's pretty fun to watch, man.
By the way, you knew he was going to shove against the Yankees. You were on the Dodgers last year. By the way, what is right here? What do we got?
Tattoo?
Yeah, what is it? It looks like a guy in his underwear. What is that thing?
Long story. I got a couple goes up, arm, back. Yeah, it's a long story. We could get into that.
Can we see it? Can we? Because all I see is a guy in tighty whitey. So can we see the whole thing?
I mean it's a Bible verse, and it's Psalm 23 and kind of depicted, and then it goes up and down my back.
Okay.
Right. Yeah,
I was getting nervous.
Like you see better shirt next time.
Yeah, right. Next time, walk off, rip shirt off. Everyone sees the full artwork.
There you go. That's a better idea.
Exactly. Well, Gavin, this was awesome, man. Thanks for doing this. You want to give Strip a rating on your way out? Should we do the MLB grading scale? So where was he at?
I'll give you a 10. Strip.
10 out of 10?
Yeah.
10, baby. On and off the field. You're my guy.
Gavin, thank you, man. Appreciate it, bud.
Appreciate
Gavin, fun to watch.
Appreciate it, man. Good to see you.
Yep, you guys as well. Appreciate you.
People liked this last time, so we're going to do it again. Read one of the fantastic, unique, creative dishes on HelloFresh. Creamy Alfredo truffle cavatappi pasta?
Cavatappi, maybe? But I'll just go with the Indian-inspired chicken paired with turmeric rice. That sounds awesome. Everything about this is delicious, fresh, comes in a little bag. And I like to cook, so I like to chop up the ingredients. I like to throw stuff in the pan, mix it up. It makes me feel like I'm doing something, Scott, and they always come out amazing.
Yes, you can be a star at home with America's #1 meal kit. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh at HelloFresh.com/FT10FM and get 10 free meals with a free item for life. That's HelloFresh.com/FT10FM for 10 free meals and a free item in every box. 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. Hey, yesterday, manager Don Kelly removed Oneil Cruz from the Pirates game due to, quote, energy and effort on the double play he hit into in his final AB. DK was unwilling to say if Cruz will be in the lineup for the next one. Well, that was yesterday, and the Pirates and the Brewers are playing right now. Of course, that's the big matchup, and Cruz is back in that lineup for a Pirates team that's down 3-0. The Miz is outshining Skenes right now, but what do we think here? 3-0, right? Oh, it's 4 now?
Yelly just got hit with 2 outs to make it 4. A lot of questionable defensive plays, including one by Oneil Cruz. But he did hustle after he missed it, so we'll give him that.
Okay. Yeah, and the Pirates are bad. It's been a long time. He's only been on losing teams his whole career so far. Strip. Dude's got a ton of talent, and obviously the Pirates, I feel like, are just trying to send some messages like, we can't be a 100-loss team. Let's try and sit a guy for 2 innings.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what that is. The one in center field was a pretty bad look, and then double down on the double play. That's normally the kind of thing you want settled from like Andrew McCutchen and in the locker room, where a veteran guy comes over and has something to say, but sometimes that doesn't get it done. Who knows whether Kutch did that or not, but sometimes the manager has to go old school and do some of that stuff on his own. And like you said, on a bad team, try and set the tone a little bit. So I think that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually think the Pirates could be a sneaky team at the trade deadline where, somebody that you don't expect gets dealt because it still seems like their winning window is far away. So it could clear payroll. I don't know, just something to keep in mind because there aren't many sellers right now. I got a few minutes for slap hands. First off, congratulations to Whit Merrifield, who officially announced his retirement with some social media posts. And what does he do? Also hop right into the FT roster. So he's going to make his guest hosting debut tomorrow. Whit, just like Ross, has been on the show many times. So we're looking forward to that. And in his retirement letter, it included a note that said, "Philly, I liked you way more than you liked me. Sorry I stunk for you." That's funny. Good little line there from
keeping it real.
So
keeping it real. Listen, we all went places where it didn't work out, and you try your best. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and you feel bad for the fans. The fans would boo you or clap for you or cheer for you, but there were times where you just were like, "Man, I can't do anything right," and you feel bad. But not like you were trying to be bad. You just weren't very good.
What do you got for us, AJ? Oh, go ahead, Trip.
No, I was going to say, I got 2 stops on my resume that didn't go as well as I would have liked. And then last thing, Whit, all-time good dude. Played with him in Toronto. Just a grinder of a player, man. Was really good on those Royals teams that weren't very good. And he was like one of the only guys you had to worry about. And if he got on first, he almost certainly was going to steal his way to second. Really enjoyed watching him play and playing with him.
3-time All-Star.
Great career. By the way, before we go, I know we got to get off the air quickly, but it's my mom's birthday today. So happy birthday, Mom. We love you and appreciate everything you did for me. And as an only child, I'm your only child. So happy birthday, Mom. I love you.
She said you're her favorite and least favorite kid. Happy birthday.
You said I was your favorite.
AJ's mom.
You know what I tell people? They say, "What's it like being an only child?" And I told them after my parents had perfection, they couldn't go anywhere but down. So they stopped.
Such an AJ line. Hey, and then news on the way out here. Cutter Crawford, who had not been good, but is out for the year. Apparently something happened off the field. They said it was an accident. Here it is, off the field accident. Not anything, quote, irresponsible, according to Alex Cora. We'll see if we get an answer on that. But, it's been an interesting turn. Again, I'll use the line that I've used 9,000 times. Documentary on the Red Sox. Mistake. Should have been this year, not last year. Last year was boring. This year is nonstop drama. Anyway, Strip, this was awesome, man. You crushed it.
Yeah, this was fun, guys. Thanks for letting me do it.
Of course. Great to have you. FT fam, we'll see you tomorrow. Whit Merrifield's on with us.